Niskacha ledas ovio, stuff in 2 dots. A katana minor was married by a father. Father consented to the marriage, so meaning the kiddushin is a doraisa. V'holach ovilim dinas hayam, and the father went overseas. V'omdiv nisas. Normally, a katana, minor, needs the permission of what? Of the father to enter into chuppah, because she's fully leaving his domain. But because the father was overseas, she married herself off without the father's knowledge. And we're speaking about she herself, she married a Kohen. So an Ashes Kohen, a wife of a Kohen, is permitted to eat truma only if she's fully married to the Kohen. Midoraisa, if a woman is married, just Ersin, she's permitted to eat truma. She's permitted. Because she's considered Kinyan Kaspo, she's considered his acquisition. And the Kinyan Kaspo, the woman being married to the Kohen, although she's not fully married to him, that's sufficient for eat truma. Rabbinically, because there's certain concerns, we don't allow it to eat truma. So she entered into full marriage herself without consulting with the father. So the question is, would the father agreed or not agreed? If he would have agreed, so she's considered fully married, so it's not a question, she's permitted to eat truma, even rabbinically. Omer Rav ocheles b'truma, achi yovo aviv yimche. We allow it to eat truma until the father comes and he protests the chuppah that he wasn't in agreement. Because we presume, since it's only rabbinical, there's enough of a presumption that he would endorse this because he originally agreed that this man should be his daughter's husband. She's married to him on a Dorais level, on a Torah level. Ravasi Omar Eno Cheles. She's not permitted to eat. Why? Because the father may return from overseas. He may protest the marriage, the chuppah. So it comes retroactively, the marriage is annulled. There was never chuppah, was never a valid chuppah. Therefore, rabbinically, since she may be eating truma, which she's not permitted rabbinically, therefore we don't allow. That's the machlokes Rav Ravasi. The chuppah, yeah. She needs to get regardless whether the father says yes or no. No, she's married at Torah level. Means only in a rabbinical. There's no rabbinical marriage here. Correct. No, not the marriage. The chuppah, the nesuin is annulled. You could only eat truma if you're a nesua. The nesuin is annulled. She's mekudeshes. She's an Ashes Ish, so she needs a get. Of course, she's married on Torah level. Have the uvda v'choshlo Rav l'hoda Ravasi. There was an incident. Rav, who's lenient, who says she's permitted truma, he took Ravasi's most stringent opinion into account, and it did not allow the minor to eat truma. Omer Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchok. So Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchok says, "Umode Rav." Rav, who says that if she marries after she's married, the kiddushin is doraisa, and she marries without the father's knowledge. Rav says she's permitted to eat truma where the father went overseas. Shemeisa ena yorsha. That if she should die, the husband does not inherit her. Why? Uki momenu becheskes morei. Because the money is retained in the status of its owner. On a Torah level, what is she? The only reason why Rav is lenient is because the prohibition to eat truma is rabbinical. So on a rabbinical level, this presumption is sufficient. But midoraisa, only a husband who's fully married to his wife, is he an heir? So since over here there's a question whether the father would have endorsed this or not endorsed it, so it's a suffix. Whenever you're in doubt, where do we go? We go after presumption. So what is the chazok? The chazok is it's still in the domain of the girl. It was never, she's not, the money is not, the estate is not in the domain of the husband. Therefore, her family inherits and not him. Go ahead.
Why would we think that if the father has agreed to this nesuin, that he'd have a problem with the kiddushin?
No, he married, no. The other way. He married her. The kiddushin, he married her off. She's married because he married her off.
So why would we think he has a problem with the nesuin? I mean, but at the same time, he already agreed to this with this man, with this couple.
You never know. Factually, you need his permission. No. But Rav says it's only okay on a rabbinical level. You see, for Yerusha, the presumption. So you see, it's not enough. It's not okay. Correct, but what about regarding inheritance? I understand, but for... No, but you're not answering his question. His question is, if he married her off, did kiddushin, the presumption is he would want her to be fully married to him. So if that's the case, if that's a presumption, so why doesn't the inheritor? But the Gemara says, even Rav, who says regarding Truma we allow it, but regarding inheritance, he doesn't inherit. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. No, but he's asking. He's asking, but if the father was in agreement to marry her, that she's married on a Torah level, kiddushin, so seemingly he wouldn't be opposed to Nisuin. Wait a second, wait. It's different. It's another stage, because she's fully entering into his domain. But the Torah says factually, you need his endorsement, his agreement. So he's asking, why would I say he wouldn't agree? You never know why he wouldn't agree. It has nothing to do with the year. You can do it immediately. Today, we do Ersin and Nisuin. You never, whatever the reason is. So therefore, Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak says even Rav, who was lenient regarding Truma, regarding inheritance, he would not inherit his wife. Niskacha Ladas. Now we're going to discuss a case. He married her off. He was agreement for the Kedushin. Niskacha Ladas. Venisa Shlo Ladas. And then she entered into Chuppah without her father's endorsement, without his approval. Va'avia Kan. And her father is not overseas. Rav Huna Eino Chelis. Rav Huna says, there she does not eat Truma. She's not permitted to eat Truma. Although before we said, according to Rav, if the father was overseas, we allow her to eat Truma. If the father's present, meaning he could be asked whether he approves or doesn't approve, and he's not consulted, Eino Chelis. Rav Yirmiyah Barabo Amo Chelis. Yirmiyah says she's permitted to eat Truma. Rav Huna Eino Chelis. Afilu Rav. Even according to Rav, when the father's overseas, we say she's permitted to eat Truma. Because the father's not here. So since the father's not here, we, on a rabbinic level, we say the presumption is he would allow this. He would allow this chuppah. If the father's here, how do you not seek his approval? So why doesn't he say anything? The answer is because he's seething. He doesn't have to say anything. We could say definitely, with certainty, the man, he's opposed to it. How do you go enter into chuppah without the father's approval? He's here. He could be consulted. So therefore, he's opposed to it. Therefore, under no circumstance can she even eat truma. Okay? Now, the Chofetz Chaim speaks about a case where somebody comes and says to a person, you're a thief. To this person, and the man remains silent. And this person normally doesn't take such a comment. It's lying down. He would normally react. And he remains silent. Normally we say, shtiko do. Silence is an indication of what? Of agreement. So in this situation here, if such a thing happens, am I able to draw from his silence that it's true that he is a thief? That's the question. So the Chofetz Chaim shows that no, you cannot. Why? Because sometimes a person is silent, and there was something similar here, because he feels that although he normally would react and respond, there are times where a person feels that since he said it in a way where he can't refute what's being said, there's no point in protesting it. He remains silent. So therefore, since he has a chazokah, he has a presumed status that he's not a thief, and his silence is not a clear indication that he is a thief, therefore you have no right to pass judgment that he's a thief. And that's the ruling of the Chofetz Chaim. So if afterwards you should go and you should say the man is dishonest or a thief, it's considered Lashon Hara. It's the Chofetz Chaim. He says we're going to Rechilos and Lashon Hara both. So it would be similar to here. I mean, the man is here, and he doesn't say anything. So that's an indication of approval? No. Di haidi shtig mirsach rosach. It's because he's seething. No, there it's not. No. Here it's mirsach. No. Here, this is unconscionable. How does a girl get married without the approval of the father when the father's here? So it's clear his silence means nothing. Right? Rabbi Yirmiyah Barabo Oma Ochelis says no. she's permitted to eat. Afilu the Ravasi, the Omer Eino Chelis. Although even according to Ravasi, who says where the father's overseas, he does not allow it to eat. In this case, where the father's present and he's silent, we allow it to eat. Why? Because there's a possibility the father may come and he may protest the chuppah, the nesuin. But over here we remain silent. It's an indication that what he approves. He's okay with it. Since he could have said something, he didn't say anything, that's an indication that the silence is approval. So it's a question of how do I interpret the silence? So he's saying, even according to Rav, silence means nothing. So but we hold Eino Chelos. We rule like Rav that she's not permitted to eat. Right? Like Rafun had said. We do not allow it to eat. We don't. He's seething. Exactly. Another case. So the first case is speaking, she's married on a Torah level kiddushin, and she entered in the suin with the father present without seeking his approval. What about niskacha shalol dasavia v'nisis ledasavia? Shalol dasavia. Neither. The father is present, and she did not seek to prove not for kiddushin, not for nisuin. The full gamut. So before you could have said, since originally he agreed that this should be his daughter's husband, he's present, you say he's okay with his son-in-law. So therefore, even for nisuin. Here, neither. She married without the approval of the father, and she entered into full marriage without the approval of the father. Rafuna Amar Ochelis. You hear this? Wait 1 second. Rafuna says she eats. So before Rafuna says, if the father married off initially, so she's married at Torah level, Rafuna had said, and then she marries with full marriage without consulting the father, we say he's seething. And here he says it was neither. Not kiddushin, not nisuin, and she does both without the father's approval. Rafuna says Ochelis. He's present. The father's here. You could seek out his approval or not, and she doesn't. He says she's permitted to eat truma. 1 second. Rav Yirmi Barabba ain't Ochelis. Right? The only reason why Rav Yirmi Barabba before said she eats is because initially he agreed to the marriage, the kiddushin. So we say his silence is he approved to this should be his son-in-law. So he's okay going all the way. But Rav Huna is the difficult one. If he holds nisas, right, where there was ersin through the father and the nisun was without the father's approval, we say he's seething. So with neither is according to this approval, he's definitely seething. So how does Rav Huna say Ochelis? But he remained silent. He remained silent. We said earlier. We said not this way. We said she needs get and she needs miyun. According to Rav and Shmuel, she needs right get and miyun. Over here, he's saying she's even permitted to eat truma. She cannot. She can eat. How could she eat truma? When you have ersin and there's no proof of nesuin, he doesn't allow her. So when you have neither here, he should allow her, right? Yeah, it's an expression. It's like vinegar to the teeth and smoke to the eyes. Understand? It's unacceptable. It's intolerable. Right? The way the vinegar wears away the enamel of your teeth and the smoke causes the eyes to be irritated, that's the position. Why? Where the father initially marries off his daughter and the marriage is a Torah marriage, kiddushin. So he approves that this should be his son-in-law. Amrit lo ochlo. He says if she should go and complete the marriage, to enter into full marriage, he does not allow it to eat because she did not seek his approval. Hochelo koshkem. So over here where he's present and she didn't seek his approval neither, not for ersin, not for kedushin, not for nesuin, definitely he's opposed to it. He's definitely seething. So therefore, Nirin Divri Talmud. Therefore we accept Rav Yirmi Abba was the student of Rav Huna. Therefore we accept the position of the student over the Rebbe. Because the Rebbe's student position is difficult to accept. Because it's with a koshkem, it's to the contrary. The father definitely is opposed to this. 1 second. Omar Rava. You know, it's interesting. Sometimes when a great person says something, even though you don't understand it, there's no such thing as it doesn't make sense. So Rav is coming to defend Rav Huna. Rav Huna doesn't make a statement. Well, it's so difficult. He makes a coach game. Therefore, we rule like the Talmud in the position against the Rebbe. No such thing. Like the Gemara says very often, if the person's an Adam Gadol, the Gemara says in Be'ah, we had a Gemara in Be'ah, where somebody said something, so it says, Mochale b'marova. They chuckled at his position. They mocked him. So he says, something, when an Adam Gavar Rabbah, Adam Gadol says something, you're not skeptical about his position. Evidently, he says something, it has value. You have to understand what he's saying. I understand. You never say it doesn't make sense. Very often, David remembers. This goes back about 29 years ago. We're learning Gemara. David Lobel says to me, Rabbi, it doesn't make sense. I said, it makes sense. You don't understand. It took him 29 years, right? Now he understands that he doesn't understand. Makes sense. Okay. And many people learn the lesson well. So Rav is coming to what? To reconcile the position of Rav Huna. Why Rav Huna says here she does it, and yet in the first case where there was kiddushin, where the father married off his daughter, but there wasn't open approval for the nisuin, that Rav Huna says there she does not eat. Omer Rav, my time of the Rav Huna, hol v'nasib masi yisum b'chayav. Yeah. So he says, take a look in Rashi. Yisum b'chayav. We said if a father fully marries off his daughter, kiddushin nisuin, and then subsequently she's divorced. So although she has a father, within the context of halacha, she's the equivalent of an orphan during the lifetime of a father. Because once she fully leaves the domain of the father can no longer affect her life. So there, in that situation, the marriage is rabbinical. It's a rabbinical marriage. So over here, if he marries her off, kiddushin, what does that mean? That means he's exercising his right as a father to a daughter. So now you have to seek approval for the second stage, which is nisuin. The girl goes and she marries without consulting with the father. So she's treating her father like she doesn't have a father. She's telling her father, something, you're irrelevant. Although you affected the first stage of marriage, it's like you're irrelevant. That's the reason why the father's seething. B'chayav kitcha v'isi atzma shaludai kilo he yisoma u'rov v'shosak o hifkir schus she'esh lo bo o shtikoso hodo bishlo miskacha l'daito v'nish l'daito ikol l'meim b'chadu shtiko misach rosach. You understand? The Gemara says very interesting. There's a halacha. If a person has a piece of property, occupies a property, and the original owner comes and he says, my boss Bayara, what are you doing in my land? More about Mishnah Bava Basra. Right? So he says, I purchased it from you. He says, where's your deed? You have a deed? He says, well, I paid cash. You never gave me a deed because you could acquire fixed property with money, something of value. So what do we do? So it's questionable. Is he a thief or is he not a thief? So when you're in doubt, we go with the presumed status. There's a cheskes marikama. So the property returns back to the original owner. What about 3 years pass, and the person comes after 3 years, he says, what are you doing with my property? He says, I bought it from you. He says, where's the deed? He says, you don't expect me to keep the deed forever. I misplaced it. So the halacha is, there's a rabbinic enactment, but it becomes a doraisa, that the Chazal said that since factually it's inevitable a person misplaces his deed, and the original could take advantage of the purchaser, that if in fact you have a claim that the man is stealing your property, you have 3 years to protest. And if you protest, word gets back to the occupier, and understanding that his position, his ownership is in question, he's going to protect that deed. Because he doesn't have that sense of feeling secure regarding the property, because he hears that people are contesting his rights, he'll protect that deed. But let's say the man, 3 years pass, and he doesn't protest. So we say, it's with certainty it's no longer his. Why? Because a person cannot tolerate to see someone else acting as the owner, as the proprietor, and benefiting from the land, and acting as the owner, and you're the owner. So remaining silent for 3 years is the equivalent of what? Of having a document. So if the occupier brings witnesses that he occupied the land 3 years, and the original owner cannot bring witnesses that he protested for 3 years, the occupier is considered the owner. That's called cheskes shalushanim. Because he occupies 3 years without any protest from the original owner, the occupation of the land without protest is the equivalent of having a deed, a document.
Rabbi, this is only for Kafka, but it's not for objects.
Objects, correct. Correct, okay. Wait one second. So Rashi says, you understand? A person says, I could remain silent to a point. This is beyond. This is too much. The daughter, at least I approved that he should be my son-in-law. She goes and marries fully without my consent, my approval. I could tolerate it, although I'm opposed to it. He's seething. The silence is he's seething. But to go and get married, kiddushin and nisuin without his permission, no father would be able to tolerate this. And yet he remains silent. That silence is clear an indication that he approves. Yeah, just the opposite. A person's able to, you say, a person can bite his tongue and remain silent, although he's upset, because at least it's not the ultimate of insolence. But this is too much. When it's beyond, you've crossed the line too much, beyond, the father cannot remain silent. So therefore, the silence is clear an indication, a confirmation that he approves. Therefore, if Huna says, in this case, she can eat the truma, and the first case, she cannot eat the truma.
The case we're dealing with here, she's clearly under 12 years old. So, what's the case here? She goes, the father didn't pick anyone. She goes and she what right does she have?
The father's aware of what's going on.
I understand, but like, what's taking place here? Somebody wants to have a kiddushin and then chuppah, and she goes through the motions, but like, does she even have a right to do anything?
She had no right, but the question is this.
The father is agreeable. So what
we had this before. The father says to a man, give my daughter something of value and you will marry her. He does that in presence of witness. Is she married on a Torah level? She's married. So over here, so over here, it's the equivalent of that. If the father consents to this, although she didn't first consult with the father, she's married. It's like the father saying, I approve. No, he can't give up. What do you mean he gave up? The same thing. No, but there has to be he has to be aware. Let's say the man is comatose, and he's not aware that his daughter's getting married. What does it mean? It means nothing. Of course it means nothing.
So it has to be the conscious awareness.
No, the father's aware of what's going. He's definitely aware. He's aware that she's going through doing an act of kiddushin.
So he doesn't have to verbalize it or say.
That's the discussion over here. That's the discussion. See, what's it? Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi says, ain't no chelis. Because since we don't see any indication the father approved, therefore she cannot eat. He says just the opposite. To this degree that it's kiddushin and that's something even the father, under no circumstances would he remain silent. That he remains silent is clear indication that he approves. Okay? That is an interesting tosis here. We had earlier a case where a father, two adult men are drinking in a pub, and one says to the other one, take this cup of wine and let my son marry your daughter. Right? That was the case. So the question is, we know a son is not under the jurisdiction of the father. I was speaking of the son as an adult. Is an adult. So the question is the father the shliach of the son, or the father not the shliach of the son? So Moret said that according to Ram and Shmuel, maybe, there's a question, maybe we should be concerned that maybe it's a kiddushin. Because maybe the son had indicated that he has an interest in this girl, and now that the father has the opportunity to marry, not that the father, he appointed the father to be a shliach. To appoint the father to be an agent, this is considered disrespect. What, your father is going to do your bidding? But rather, the son had indicated he has an interest in marrying this girl. Not that and now the father has the opportunity to do something on behalf of the son. So we'll say, doing something which is beneficial for the son, so he'll be able to do the act of marriage on behalf of his son. That was the question. Okay? So the Gemara says, Ravina says it's nothing. Why is it nothing? Because he says he rejects even Rav and Shmuel. Even the case where you have a minor marrying without the father's knowledge. Although there's a concept, Talmud of Tandu, that a father wants his daughter to be, at least have someone. And over there, he rejects that. So by a son, where that concept has no application, of course a man is independent, definitely it's nothing. Meaning, Ravina says, in regard to the case of the daughter, one doesn't need a get, one does not need miyun. So over here, you need nothing. It's considered nothing. That was Ravina, okay? So let's see Tosas over here. Ravina, a girl gets married without the knowledge of a father. So we said, Rav and Shmuel said before, she needs get and she needs miyun. Ravina says she needs nothing. That's what Ravina says. So if by a girl you need nothing. So if the father marries his daughter, his son, does an act of marriage on behalf of the son without the son's knowledge, it also means nothing. Okay? No, the son already indicated. No, but the question is, no. If he's not a shlich, it's nothing. But the question is, do we say maybe? Maybe the son had revealed his interest, and maybe the father therefore is acting within the context of schia on behalf of the son. Not on, so therefore, do we have to take that into account? So he says, if by a girl we don't take into account, where there's more reason to say it, so by a son definitely we're not going to take into account. So, but he doesn't have to marry this girl. He can marry endless girls, right? Doesn't have to marry. Rashi says it's a kosh game. Okay, let's take a look at Tosas. The Fer Shamar lo spir lo hod Shmuel. He said explicitly, he rejects Shmuel's position that you don't need get, you don't need miyun. Top Tosas on Memhe Amud Beis. Speaks about a lot of interesting things, this Tosas here. The Kamalech Haazinu Shem Isra'atzel Rishon. Pirush Bekuntris. Rashi explains, Dahainu Ravina lo sovel l'Shmuel. Va'avagav the Kamer Ravina. Afilu mad yom Haazinu Shem Isra'atzel v'lavni Shem Spir lehochi. He had said that even according to the position that maybe the father consented, here it's nothing. El Rav Chanimilson Nakte. Oposek Rav Alfis, very rarely in Shas. Does Tosas quote the Rif, Rabbeinu Alfis. Brochis, this, a number of Mesechtes he mentions it once in a while. Posek Rav Alfis, Ubishiltis, to Rav Achoy, the Hilfsek Ravina. The Rif rules and the Shiltis rules like Ravina, Duhu Basro, because Ravina was from the latter Amoroim, V'sofa Rohoyo. V'rabo bar simi nami sov kabose. Therefore, lo chayshino shem nisratzav. We're not concerned that maybe the father consented to this marriage. Ve'in tzorach lo get v'lo miyun. Va'afilu shitchu. Even though they spoke about the father originally agreed that this man should marry his daughter, nevertheless, it's rejected. V'avagav de metama gemar le'el. V'avagav de shitchu mi'ikal de amri. But there's a position eino sovakein. Kein ein tzorach litcho l'forish mashpir shri. Afilu min ain't shricha. Okay. Okay. A little further down. V'od posek shiltis the Rav Achoy. Now, new case. We're speaking of a new case. David, interesting case. We said that if a girl has no father, right, or the father fully married, or often she receives a get. So now the mother, the brothers, even herself, she can marry herself independent of the father. Because she's a Yisom B'chayav, right? Because why can't she? Because we're concerned that she'll be molested. She'll be taken advantage of. So to protect her, rabbinically, it's important for her to have a husband to watch over her. A girl her father goes overseas. Although he rules like Ravina, that she doesn't need a get. He rejects Shmuel. A girl whose father went overseas, she yechol liskadesh midrabanan. she could marry on a rabbinical level. Why? Like an orphan who has no father, the Tikkun Rabbana Kiddushin Mishum Hefker. The Chazal legislated kiddushin for her because otherwise she'll be abused. V'zu sheholach ovil b'din sayam hariki soma mishum hefker. Who's going to watch over her? Since she has nobody fending for her because her father went overseas and left her behind, therefore rabbinically we treat her as if she has no father. Even though factually she has a father, we treat her like she has no father. Okay? But Rabbi Menachem Miyuni, Rabbi Menachem was one of the Bali Tosis who came from Greece. Eino moda b'dover. He rejects it. He says, no, even when the father goes overseas, she cannot marry herself off rabbinically. He said there was an incident, father had gone to a far-off land. The minor married herself without her father's knowledge. And Reb Nachum Yuni, he prohibited the wife, the ketana, to the husband. Why? Maybe the father, when he's overseas, he's actually marrying off his daughter to a third party. So if actually he married her off to a third party when he was overseas, what is it? So she's married on a Torah level. So therefore, now if this man rabbinically should take her, it may be adultery, because the father may have married off on a Torah level. So he's violating Eishes Ish. What do you mean? The daughter cannot marry herself off. It's a rabbinic marriage. She's a minor. At best, it's rabbinical, the marriage. The marriage is no more than rabbinical, correct? She's a minor. Well, she's exclusive.
Even on a rabbinic level.
The father, she's still in the domain of the father. The father on Torah level still has a right to marry off. No, he says we treat her. They had said that we treat, the Shiltas had said that if a minor's father goes overseas, we treat her like she has no father, she can marry off rabbinically. Rabbi Menachem Yuni has an issue with this. Wait a second. Therefore, she's considered rabbinically married to the man. No, she cannot eat truma. This girl cannot eat truma. Case truma full because she was married on a Torah level. There's no kiddushin. There's nothing. There's no kiddushin. The father did not marry her off it. He left town when she was just born. Now, 8 years later, 10 years later, the father's still not back. She marries herself off to a third party. Okay? So is it a rabbinic marriage or not? Do we allow the new husband to be with her? So Reb Nachman Yuni says, so the Shilta says yes. Reb Nachman Yuni says it's a problem because maybe the father, when he's overseas, he may have married off his daughter on a Torah level, so she's a married woman. So if we allow this man to engage with her, he's in violation of Eishes Ish. This is what Reb Nachman Yuni said. Okay? Because she's in the domain of the father. So what if he's in China? He is the equivalent of the daughter. If a daughter accepts marriage for his daughter, he's in China. Is she married? As long as she's a minor. She's married. We don't know, but there's a possibility. There is a possibility.
Even he's accounting for at age 8, he's in China and he's stuck there for the next 10 years. She becomes
She's an Eishes Ish.
She's an Eishes Ish.
Of course.
Meanwhile, she doesn't know where he is. It's like she's an Aguna, and meanwhile she becomes a Gedola.
Therefore, it doesn't make a difference. So she's still.
She is like
She may not be, but Reb Nachman Yuni says. I'm not saying the father definitely maybe is irresponsible, but factually she's in the domain of the father. What about if a father marries his daughter when she's a minor? And then after the father dies, maybe she's not aware she's married. Okay, things happen. So the question, are we concerned? He may have, I'm not. Shilta says, I'm not concerned. Reb Nachman Yunus says, I am concerned. So on that he says, V'sholcha l'Rabbeinu Tam. So Rabbeinu Tam rejected. He's in opposition to this Reb Nachman Yunus. He says, according to you, l'dvarecha, in Mesa of Disayam, she says, if according to you that I have to be concerned, even the father may marry it off. Forget about our case. Let's say the father went overseas and dies. And we don't know whatever happened. The minor should never be able to marry. Because let us marry it off without our knowledge, and she's a married woman. Right? And we're not concerned about that because the presumption is she's not married. The father did not marry off. Therefore, I allow this rabbinic marriage to go through. And I'm not concerned that maybe she's an Eishesish because the father may have married her off. That's Rabbeinu Tam. Therefore, Rabbeinu Tam is opposed to this position of Rabbi Nachman Yumi. We have a Cheskes Penuya. Wait a second. We'll see in a moment. Rabbeinu Tam says there's nothing to be concerned about because I have a Cheskes Penuya. She has a presumed status. She's not married. I don't have to be concerned if maybe. I don't have to be concerned about that. Veisha Rabbeinu Menachem. So Rabbeinu Menachem responds to Rabbeinu Tam. Loho lo chashino shem yikadish amrinon shem yikidish lo amrinon. We'll have to leave this for tomorrow.